Okay, 2006 BMW X5 4.4. Transmission is the ZF6HP26X, of course, because it's an all-wheel drive. So what's going on with this? It has your typical codes of gear monitoring for the E-clutch, gear monitoring for the 4-5 shift. And this gentleman is from Pennsylvania, and he's in the area working. So he had the car here, so we figured he'd bring it in. I'll get it checked out for him while he's on the job. So pretty much what's going on is when the car gets hot, we were driving it around, and we had a flare one time on the 3-4, and one time when it went from 3 to 4 there was nothing there, and then the next shift it was okay. And when he actually drove the car here from Brooklyn, it did not act up at all. It's got about 100,000 miles on it, so it's a very good chance that we're dealing with a solenoid problem. So what I'm going to do here, I got the valve body out, as you can see. First, let me just say what he did to try to correct the problem. This has the metal pan. It's not the plastic pan that has the filter incorporated. It has the metal pan. So he dropped the pans, fairly accessible. He dropped out the valve body, changed the bridge seal, and changed the 4 sealing sleeves. And went back with new filter, fluid, and pan gasket, but it pretty much did the same thing. The E-clutch actually is fed through the front of the transmission. The sealing sleeves seal, you know, like the B clutch and the D clutch, you know, all the center support in the back there. The E-clutch is not fed through that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the valve body. I'm going to flat sand both halves. I'm going to change out the dampers. I'm going to change out the separator plate. I got the code. It is a B052, so that also tells me that I'm dealing with a Gen 1. And I'm probably also going to have 6 dampers, the rubber dampers to change out. And I have a brand new ZF solenoid kit I'm going to be installing. And we're going to put this back in the car and give it a shot and kind of go from there. But you know, we got a pretty good chance of this working. I've talked to people in the past and dealt with people in the past. You know, one guy threw an email that had the same problem, and when his transmission hit 4th gear, because I remember the conversation because we ended up speaking on the phone. His transmission, when it hit 4th gear, when it got hot, there was nothing there, just revved up, 0. And on 2 occasions, actually, I spoke to people. And, you know, normally the common thing is when the rear stator bushing is worn and the oil thins out, when it gets hot is when you're going to have these problems. Kind of like a classic sign of a worn bushing. So, you know, I'm thinking it's a worn bushing as we're going on the conversation. And he says, well, you know what, let me do the solenoids first because I'm going to do that anyway. And if, you know, worst comes to worst, I'm going to pull the transmission out and kind of go from there. So he had, some weeks went by, and then he called me back, and the solenoid actually fixed the problem. And on another occasion, I was going back and forth with somebody via email, also with a BMW, might have been an X5 too, with the same problem, nothing there. And, you know, I said, you know, let's do solenoids first before we go ahead and pull the transmission out, because they would have to be done anyway. And that fixed it also. So there is a good chance that, you know, doing these solenoids are going to fix it. So you can see the solenoids are fairly old because the color is worn off. And one other thing that I get questioned on is, you know, when people ask me what solenoids they get, I say, well, you got to drop the pan, or you can get the numbers off the side. Let me know, and I can kind of look up. I got a chart through Transtar that will have the case numbers on the side that will give me the number, not really their part number, but the number, but the OE number of a solenoid kit. And sometimes they write back and they say I have 3 yellow, 3 green, and a black, but because the color is worn, there is no green. It's actually, well, the green is on the E shift with the MV solenoid for the park solenoid, but these actually are blue. So let me actually get a little closer. We're probably going to start taking this thing apart tomorrow because I'm expecting some people here, and I gotta deal with them. Let me just get a little closer because I just want to show you the difference, how it's a common mistake on more than one occasion. The solenoid, the color fades, so I'll open one of these up and show you here. So let me get a little closer and I'll show you that, and then eventually we're going to take the valve body apart. All new solenoids are going to get installed. Like I said, I have a new separator plate ready to go because I'm going to be doing this over the weekend. And then back in the car, reset the shifter DAPs. If you don't reset the shifter DAPs, more than likely it's going to work the same way. So we're going to reset the shifter DAPs and hope for the best that it did cure the problem, and we can just leave it at that. And then when he finishes his work, he can go on and head home. All right, so let me get a little closer and we will get started. So first thing I'm going to do is show you the solenoid colors, and then we'll get started on the valve body. Okay, so just to show you real quick, all right, here are the 3 blue solenoids, and of course they, they're faded so much they actually do look green, and this is the difference here, when you put the new solenoid on. So it's understandable because it did happen to me on more than one occasion. All right, and then here are the yellow ones. And that color, that color fades, almost looks orange, if you will. Now on the orange one, they do use orange solenoids, but that's on the Generation 2 ZF units. There's usually 2 of them. It could be 2 or 3 of them. And then the black one, the MV, no problem there. All right, so let me just get set up for this. And I do have a few minutes, so maybe we could start pulling this thing apart. I'll get set up. Here is the pan. Okay, so the fill check is through here. The drain is right here. And just fill this like you fill any other one. You can actually, I think there's even, on this one, there was one on the side. If you didn't want to fill it through the bottom, I think there was a plug on the side as well. You can fill it just like you fill the regular ZFs that have the plastic pan. All right, let me get set up for this. Let me get a rag laid out. Let me get my tools set up, and I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, so let's start by taking the Megatronic unit off, loosening those bolts. Okay. Those. Right, let me bring this down a little bit. Okay. Now, of course, we want to be very careful lifting this thing out. Stuck on this dowel here. Okay. It actually stayed in here. I'll have to knock that out. All right, here we go. Wow. These rubber dampers, I think, are coming through. Never seen that before. Let me give you a shot of this here. Let's see. Here's to see what they look like. All right, let me just pause. I just want to give you a close-up shot of this here. Okay, so we have this one here. Look at that. It just broke off. This one here and this one here. So they're definitely going to have to be changed. I just want to give you a shot of that, so we'll continue taking this valve body apart. I got to knock this piece out so these halves will come apart, you know, that goes in the liner pin. Okay, so let me reposition. Okay, first thing I want to do is get this out of the way. All right, let me just back it out a little bit here. Raise it up. Okay. Guess we're going to put back into the electronic thing. Okay, we'll just put that aside for now. All right, now we'll start taking these bolts out. Turn my light back on here. Okay, we got one left. All right. See if we can break this loose here. So, let's flip this up. This plate's pretty much stuck to this thing. Those things are all the way down. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 is again a generation 1. 7 would be generation 2. Let's see if we can get one of these out. And them suckers are flat like pancakes. Wow. Really flat. Okay, what I want to do now is I'm going to mark all my spots with the check balls. Got some screens, got 2 check valves. But check balls are the important ones. I want to just mark all the spots where they all go. Even take a shot of it if I can with the camera, my phone. All right, so let me do that and I will be back. All right, so I got all the check balls and stuff out and the dampers, and some of these things got stuck in here because they're sticking through. So that's one of them there. And then of course all these rubber pieces here were coming through. I had to break off in order to get these things out. But these things, there's really nothing left of them. Never seen that before. So we're going to reuse this part, and I'll just put the rubber insert in, which I have. So all the check balls, everything is out. We got 9 check balls, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. And I'll give you locations and everything like that. I'll give you a shot of it when it's back in. So what I'm going to do now is just clean everything up, flat sand it, get all this stuff off from the old plate. And I'll prepare this to go back together. So you're either going to do that depending on when the people I'm waiting for show up, either today or tomorrow. All right, so again, I'm going to clean everything up, flat sand it, and we will pick up again probably tomorrow. We'll put this back together. I'll show you locations. We'll put the solenoids in and go from there. All right, so I will be back. All right, so let's load all the goodies into the valve body. Start with the check balls. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I missed one somewhere. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, we got our 2 valves and springs. Our 2 filters. One here. One here. And I'm going to load the dampers in. Here's a shot of the old ones. Whoops. Here's a shot of the old ones. And here's one of the new ones with the new rubber damper, and now it's right up to the top there. And we got 6 of those. Okay, so just to go through the check balls one more time on this, this is an 06. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, so let me reposition and we'll continue putting this valve body together. All right, so let's get these old solenoids out, the new ones in. Last bolt here. Take the bracket up. And what I do sometimes, just in case, so I don't screw up the order, I put a number on it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you know, here is starting from here. On the E shifts, of course, you'll have your solenoid here, but this is an M shift. Okay, so we'll start with the yellow. Okay. All right, the MV1, black, the on-off solenoid. I'll do one blue again. Look at the difference here. Sometimes you can put a little STP on this also. Okay, looking good. And remember, this is a Generation 1 because of the number, one reason, you know, is of course of plate code. And the other one, again, was only 6 amperes instead of 7. There are other ways you can tell, but it's, you know, within the valve body, the valve lineups. Okay, latest one. Let's pop back out. And again, the difference here, you know, these colors are really, really faded. STP on that. Okay. All right, so I'm going to finish putting these in. I'll run them in, probably torque it down about 80 inch-pounds. This is a T27. Okay, this is set at 80. Do it like this. Okay, the only thing really left is to put the two halves together. Here's the plate, sit nice. All right, so I'm gonna stop there. I have to run out. I will be back. Okay, so very possible I may have to finish this up tomorrow morning. All right, but it's just a matter of putting it together, putting the Megatronic unit back on, torquing everything down, and leaving it at that. And I'll also show you where the feed is for the A and the B clutch as well. All right, so I will be back. Okay, so let's finish up putting this valve body together. So we got everything in place here. New solenoids, everything is nice and free and clean.
All right, so what I want to do here is put a couple of bolts in. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the computer on because it has the lineup pins in there. So these we're just going to do hand tight. Okay. Let me just reposition a little here. Okay. All right, so the manual valve, we're going to line up with this one. Okay. Perfect. All right, that's lined up. So everything was lined up pretty good. That went right down nice and easy. All right, so we have the 6 bolts for the TCM, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. Now let's run these down. Okay, here is the one for the TCM. Okay, this is in place. That looks good. Oop. I got this. All right, so I'm going to torque these down, 80 inch-pounds. I like to start from the middle, and then you can work your way out. So let's do the Mechatronic ones here. Okay. That should be it. Got more here. Okay. I like to go over them all, make sure I got them all. Looks good. Okay. There is the valve body complete, ready to go in. So what I want to do now before we end, I just want to take you over to the car and show you the feed for the E-clutch. Actually, it's the A and the E-clutch because they're both up in the front. All right, so let me just pause and set up over there, and I'll be back with you in a minute underneath the car. Okay, so up here is where the A and the E-clutches feed from. This is the E-clutch on the inside, and this is the A-clutch on the outside. All right, and then here are your other ones, the B, C, and D. That's where they feed from. But these are the two ones here in case you wanted to air check the E and the A when you have the valve body down, if you're having problems in the higher gears, 4th, 5th, and 6th. All right, so those are the feed ports for that. And once again, this is a 2006 BMW X5 4.4 ZF6HP26X. And we were having issues getting solenoid gear monitoring codes. I mean, for the E-clutch for 5 shifts, and went through the valve body, found those dampers completely destroyed. The solenoids, I'm sure, probably weren't the greatest. They did look like they've been in there for a while. And the owner of the car did drop the pan and valve body to change these and these, but the problem persisted. He changed the oil sleeves, the sealing sleeves, and the bridge seal. New fluid filter and gasket, the problem persisted, so he gave me a call, and that's pretty much what we found. Really the first time I've ever seen those dampers totally destroyed like that. I mean, that really couldn't have been good. And those solenoids, I'm sure, weren't in the best shape. You know, as you know, a lot of problems between bushing wear and solenoids. Those are the two most common things that go wrong with these cars. So I'm going to put it back in tomorrow morning, oil it up, and reset shift adapts and take it for a ride, but I'm pretty sure this would probably be okay. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you next one.